Okay, today we're going to start off by showing you guys an example of an estimate that we would be doing, on a standard size house. First, you would want to speak with your customer and take plenty of notes on what they're actually looking for in the job, and then we'll jump into kind of taking measurements. So, for example, with this house, what we're going to say is that the customer wants the front roof and gutter line lit in multicolored lights, and they want all of the windows from the front of the house and the doors outlined. So we'll kind of jump into what that looks like now. Okay, so what I want to talk through with you guys now is we kind of talked about what the customer was looking for on this job, and come over here and you can take a look at kind of how we work through our estimates and make sure that we have everything on the day of the job that we're looking for. So this is kind of very informal, but the way that we work, it's you'll write the customer's name up here, address, any pertinent information to the job, and then you want to definitely record what you had talked to them about. So in this scenario, they want the front roof and gutter line lit up in multicolored lights, and they want all of the front windows and doors outlined. So if you take a look at the little sketch of the house there, you just want to include the key components. So there's 4 windows up top, front door, a double window at the bottom, and then everything that they want outlined. So that's where we're going to write our measurements later on. So take a look at the house and you'll see kind of how we arrived at that really basic sketch there. Okay, so the next part here, we're going to talk briefly about recording your actual measurements on your sketch that you made. So I'll kind of walk you through that now. You're only going to need a few things. For the height measurements, you'll need to know that each story of a house is approximately 10 feet, worth of lighting. And then for the length of the house, or any linear foot measurements in length, it'll really help to have a measuring wheel. So you can get one of these pretty much from any local hardware store or Home Depot or something like that. So okay, I'm going to start on the other end of the house and I'll walk back and kind of talk you through it. So once you put your measuring wheel down, you want to just keep it at a point of contact the entire time, so it's taking an accurate measurement. So with this estimate, we will kind of just start measuring along the house until we get. So they want it to go all the way along the bottom of the house and then around the door. I'm approximately 6 feet tall, so you'll have 6 feet on this side, 6 feet on this side, 3 feet across the top, and we'll add that up at the end. So we'll take the total linear footage, which that comes out to 30 feet, plus 6 on one side of the door, 6 on the other side of the door, and 3 feet across the top would be 45 altogether. Okay, so pretty much the measurements that we just took there, it was for this very corner here, all the way down to here, up and around the door, and then to this corner. So that was 45 in total, but what we can kind of write here to help us with that measurement also, you might want to make kind of a bracket mark like this to let you know that it was 45 feet in total length, 6 feet on this side, 6 feet on this side, 3 here. So now we're going to actually have to measure the height, the other roof line, which we know this is probably 30 feet in length because we had already taken that measurement. So you have 30 here, 30 here. So we'll have to get the side lengths, which would be 10 feet for each story. That's 1 story, 2 stories, so that's 20 feet on each side, 20 feet on this side. And then the length here we're going to talk about now. Okay, so next I wanted to talk to you guys about how to take a proper gable end measurement. What a gable end is in home building is referred to as like the A-frame side of the house. So for example, the front of this house does not have a gable end. The side of the house would be referred to as a gable end. Linear measurements are a little bit tricky here to get the correct measurement because the A-frame accounts for a little bit more length than you can actually take from the ground in a straight line. So the solution here would be to start out at the very corner, go to the end of the gable, and halfway back, and then that's going to give you a pretty accurate measurement in most cases. Okay, so the one thing that I wanted to mention to you guys also is that when you do take these linear foot measurements, in some scenarios you can purchase different lengths of lighting. Some rolls come in 100 feet, 30 feet, 15 feet, 8 feet. It may be beneficial to, when you either give a material list to your customer to go shopping or you go purchase materials yourself, to try to get lengths that are, you know, close to the numbers that you have here. That way you don't run into issues with, you know, a lot of extra light or, you know, really, you know, too many different connections to make up on the house. So that's also a good tip to keep in mind. Okay, so now I wanted to walk you guys through doing an actual gable end measurement. It's very simple, but I also wanted to show you how to do that. Just take your measuring wheel, make sure that it's zeroed out, and then line up with the corner where the lights are actually going to start, all the way down, halfway back, and that's going to be the amount of light that you need to make it from one end to the other. So, you know, for an example, it would kind of just go. Okay, we got about 23 feet worth of light on this gable end to make it from end to end. Okay, so the next thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about, which is a really important thing to not overlook when you're at the estimate, you want to locate where the outdoor outlets are, because that's going to be where you're wiring all of, at least in 95% of situations, where you're going to be wiring all of your lighting from. So on this house, it's pretty straightforward. There's one outdoor outlet, which is located over here. Now you want to take a look at the outdoor outlet also to make sure that it's safe to use, which that would mean that there's a GFI. Okay, so the outlet that I was talking about here, we located this outlet, the only one that we're going to be wiring from on this job. And when you get the box open here, most outlets these days will have a GFI, it's called, which is a good thing. It's it's a test and reset button, which is located right here. And pretty much that makes the wiring, safe, especially outdoor wiring. So that would be a great thing, if the house has that. Some older homes don't, still at this point. But anyway, you want to make a note on your sketch. When you take a look at the sketch here, we are located like right next to the front door here and right at the corner of this window. So now you have also your outdoor outlet, right here. So that's an important thing to note on your sketch also. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do here is kind of take a second to sit back and think through the job from start to finish. And what I mean by that is where we're going to begin wiring, if we need any splitters. So this is kind of an example of a splitter. It splits power into a couple different areas. Sometimes we'll use this at like the corner of a gutter line to run the extension cord up here, run a splitter from this end, and run a different wire off this way. These are very beneficial and it saves you a lot of work of rewiring. So a couple other things I wanted to cover were the benefits of LED lights. For an example, with this job, if you were to use non-LED lights, you may have to run several different extension cords and splitters when that's not necessary. LED lights, sometimes you can connect up to 90 sets end to end, so that's all that we use at our company. The other thing, if you were going to wire these windows from window to window, and what I mean by that, I'll take a look at this here. So if you were to wire, lights around this window, and then an extension cord from this window to that window, and then lights around here, so you have a nice, professional look. This cord here, you want to maybe make a note of what color the siding is to get a white extension cord to actually do a really professional and clean job. So those, are kind of a few more recommendations about how to, do a great job for your customer. All right, so a few other things that I wanted to go over with you guys. You want to make notes of what size ladders you will need. So for example, we had said that this house is 2 stories, so approximately 20 feet in height. So a good recommendation for this house would be 2 small step ladders, maybe a 4-foot ladder and an 8-foot ladder, to get to the other parts of the house, the windows and that type of thing. And then you would need a 24-foot extension ladder. So you would want to make notes of what you're actually going to have to prepare the crew with when it comes to, not only materials but equipment. The other thing that you might need to make notes on, take some tally marks, make a list, kind of come take a look at this, my notes here. So you might want to take a tally mark, say you would need a splitter here and a splitter here, so 2 splitters, for example. Extension cords, let's say that we're only going to use 1 on this job. Okay, so you would run an extension cord from this corner down here neatly along the bottom of the house up to this corner to start your lights there. So that's one more measurement that you'll have to take before you go. You know, you have 20 feet here, and then you'll just take a measurement from the box to the corner, and that's how long of an extension cord. So let's just say a 50 foot, give us more than enough. 50 foot, and then kind of like a 1 and circle it, so you know that you'll need one 50-foot extension cord, 2 splitters, and then other equipment. So let's just say zip ties, if you had some columns to do or something like that with like a candy cane type effect. That is a very good tip. You know, we'll go over those, and there's a couple Microsoft Word documents that you guys can look through to get some really good installation tips.